Howdy folks, my name is Adam. I today am going to talk about Hammer and specifically how to install Hammer. Hammer is a tool that we use to develop CleanSlate themes. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Right now I'm on a brand new machine, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to Hammer on GitHub. I've actually got it in a tab right here. You can scroll down, and obviously I'm on Mac OS X machine right now, so I'm going to do the Mac OS X install. And the installation instructions are pretty straightforward, but I'm just going to kind of go through them here one by one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this first step right here, and I'm actually going to open my terminal and copy this right here. Now I'm using a iTerm here, but you can use the default terminal app too if you like. So this is saying that there's no sites directory yet, so we actually need to make that. So we can just type mkdir sites, and we are already in, as it says up there, we are in the username for this computer. So I'm just going to do that right there, and then we can type in that command one more time. So if we actually list out the folders that are here, there we go. So we are right now in the CleanSlate themes folder within the sites folder, as it says right there. So yeah. So let's move on to the next one. I have actually already downloaded Xcode from the App Store. As you can see right here, you basically just open up that link. It'll ask you to open the App Store. You hit install and you're good to go. This does take a little bit of time, so allow 10 or so minutes for that. The next step is to install Ruby Version Manager. So we can just basically copy this right here into our terminal and paste it, and it'll start to grab Ruby Version Manager for us. And this should only take a minute or two. So, alright, and after about 5 minutes we have our VM installed. It'll display some of this stuff in the terminal. So let's go ahead and go to the next step, which is this. We've got to basically just rerun this or kind of restart our terminal for RVM. One thing that says right here, occasionally RVM will ask you to run a few other commands after installing. If it does, please do so. And as far as I can tell here, there's nothing that it's asking for us to do. So this next step, this RVM requirement step, is a kind of a big one because it takes a little while for it to complete. It has to download some big libraries. One of the biggest ones is OpenSSL. So when you run this, it'll take a long time. You just have to be patient and let it kind of do its thing. So I'm going to go ahead and paste this in here and hit enter, and it'll ask you for a couple things. You're about to install Homebrew, press enter for the default installation, and I'm just going to hit enter. And it'll say okay, whatever. It'll press return, continue, other key to reboot, so I'm going to press enter. And you have to enter the user's password for the computer. Alright, and then hopefully it should continue on there. So I'm just going to go ahead and pause this while it downloads so that you guys can just speed through this guide here. Alright, so this is what we're looking at. Looking like after about 10 or so minutes, we're installing a bunch of packages. You can see it says you're receiving objects and all this stuff, kind of give us a percentage. Now it's going to install OpenSSL, which is going to take a hot minute. So we'll catch you guys after that's done. All right, and we are back. That took actually longer than I expected. It took maybe between an hour and a half and 2 hours. This is an older machine, so it may be quicker for you, but just know that it does take a little while, and you just have to let it go and do its thing. But this is what it looks like when it finishes up. So yeah, we're just going to go on to our next step. So we're going to basically close terminal and completely quit it. Notice I quit it up here, and then we're going to open it back up and copy this for step 5 and paste that in there and hit enter. It's going to clone Hammer into our sites directory. Then we are going to go to let's see, where are we here? We're going to go to CD into Hammer. And it's going to say, oh, hey, by the way, you need to install Ruby 193p484. We're actually going to do this with this @hammer added on to the end of it here. So I'm going to paste that in there, and it's going to install Ruby 193. And it might give you a warning here that this is like an older version of Ruby or whatever. You don't really need to worry about that. You know, just let it do its thing, and it should be good to go. Okay, and we have just installed Ruby, and this is actually that warning that I was talking about, warning us that we have installed a version of Ruby that is no longer maintained. That's no big deal. And you'll notice down here that this is actually an error message saying that we should run this command. So I'm going to do that and hit enter. And we're good to go. It just created a gem set for Hammer there. So now we're going to proceed on to step 8, and we're going to install the gem bundler. So gem install bundler. And that's going to grab the Ruby gem from the gem bundler from rubygems.org. So we'll just let that install here real fast. There we go. Alright, so and this is a pretty classic example. You know, it says if you get a permission denied error of some sort, you know, run sudo gem install bundler. That looks like what we need to do. We need to do that right here. I'm sure there's a more elegant way around this, but for now I'm just going to do sudo gem install bundler and enter my password. Note when I'm typing here, it's not actually going to show me any feedback on the screen, but it is indeed entering characters. So there we go. So we'll just let that install there. Perfect, and there it is installed in about 30 seconds. Now that we have installed bundler, I'm going to just do a quick pwd. If we actually show what's in this directory, we see there's a gem file, and bundler uses the gem file to basically install the different gems. So we can just say bundle install, and it's going to look at that gem file and see what gems are required. And so one of the things that it says here is it's actually using Ruby 2, and we need to use Ruby 193. So what we're going to do, and I believe this is rvm use ruby-1.9.3-p484. That is not in the directions, but hopefully I can add that there later for you all. Alright, so let's try that one more time. Bundle install, and it's going to grab our gems from rubygems.org and do its magic. So it looks like the gem, what is it, Nokogiri failed to install. So what I'm going to do here one more time is just run another bundle install to see if we can get it to go. Alright, so we got it worked out. This was actually something that was in the Nokogiri docs, and all you have to do is, I've even added to the docs right here. All you have to do is do this command right here before you do bundle install, and it should fix it up for you. So after it's all fixed, you should see this, and we're going to go on to step 12 right now. So I basically am going to open up my bash profile right here in TextEdit, and at the bottom of this there's a bash config area, and we're just going to go in here and paste that into TextEdit and go ahead and quit it. And then we're going to go, so it says here if you don't know if you use your .bash profile or your profile .profile, you probably should paste it into both, but I have a feeling that we use by default our bash profile. So yeah, so I quit TextEdit, then I'm going to quit terminal, so we're going to close it and then reopen it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to type hammer, and alright, so I just got another error from Nokogiri, but it looks like all I had to do right here was to go to the root hammer directory, which is sites hammer right here, and not this extra hammer directory, and do another bundle install for some reason, and everything's good to go. So now if we actually type hammer, hammer will run. So now we can go to our browser and go to HTTP localhost 2000, and bam, hammer is running, the local server is running, but we really can't do anything quite yet because we don't have any themes to look at. So let's go ahead and look at our themes right here. We can follow into step 15. So let's just go ahead and do this right now, and we're going to actually open a new tab and go to our CleanSlate themes folder. Then we're going to clone these couple repositories here, and so it's going to clone the code repo, and I'm going to go ahead and copy this in advance, so that's still copying. Okay, now the CleanSlate toolkit, or the code repo is done. We're going to clone the CleanSlate toolkit just by pasting that in and enter. It's going to clone it in there. There we go. Alright, and now we can go back to our index, hit refresh, and we'll notice the CleanSlate toolkit pops up. You can just click that, go to views of any theme, and then click a template, and bang, there you go. You now have hammer running locally. You're able to view a theme and make changes to it. So hopefully here soon we're going to make a video that goes about the basics of how to basically use hammer after you've installed it, and then we'll probably make another video that goes over advanced topics as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, please do get in touch with us. You can either use the form at cleanslatecms.w.edu and go to the request help page right here and fill out that form, or if it's a really hammer specific question you're having trouble with, check out the repo on GitHub and maybe even open an issue to see what's going on. So without further ado, I will leave you to your theme making.